morning, it wasn't quite as cold as it's been. But how many of you still wore a jacket or a sweater today? Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I'm kind of cold even right now, so I'm just going to get my jacket and I'm going to warm up by putting on my jacket. Now, our science lesson today is on adaptations, both physical adaptations and structural adaptations. Now, I want you to think about animals. You can think about our class animals, our crabs or our frogs. You can think about your pets. You can think about yourself. And I want you to think about, what an adaptation is. The intent of the lesson was, it's kind of in a series where we've talked about food chains, food webs, and then this is our beginning to go into animal adaptations. And so it was kind of a transition into traits and how the whole process works.
I got it, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm winning. How does Miss Walker do that? Oops. I got it. Oops.
When I see engaged learning, I see kids' body, hands, and minds completely involved in the lesson. And they're doing it and they're thinking about it because the learning doesn't happen just in the passive listening. The learning happens in the processing and the doing and the reflecting. That's the learning. And so it takes their minds, it takes their hands, it takes partners, it takes a whole class working together. But engagement is just full involvement in the learning.
Hi. It went off. Come off. Oh, it didn't go.
I didn't give them a lot of information about adaptations or evolution or anything. I just kind of gave them small little bits and said, now go talk. And now here's another small little bit. Now go talk. Because now that they've had this experience in talking about bird beaks and how bird beaks have changed, now they've got something that they can draw back on when we go on to talk about this in more depth. They've got an experience before we really begin to put some labels to it. A beak. Cool. At your group, talk about for just a second what you know about birds and beaks. Go.
They use them to peck into the dirt to get through like worms or
and they can use them to pick seeds really. They can fly with their wings and pick seeds really fast.
What a woodpecker does is kind of like what Erica said, although it knocks into trees and finds through the tree to find its own food.
It's the connecting to other things, connecting to other ideas, what they know. It's also building upon the knowledge of each other because everyone in the group brings something to it. And so their collective knowledge is much greater than what any individual person's going to do.
Yeah, because eagles wouldn't get little flowers because that's not big enough. But they might have got
bunnies, rats.
Yeah,
when they were really thinking about, oh, yeah, the environment, this matters, changes matters, and oh, this might be a career, and oh, maybe that is why the bird is like this. When they could kind of have those aha moments, and what I love about it, I didn't give them those aha moments. They completely created their own knowledge, so it's theirs. It belongs to them. If I give them the knowledge, they're borrowing it from me, and it's still mine. But when they create it, and you can see just that kind of quiet, when their minds are kind of tick, tick, ticking, and then all of a sudden, they'll be like, oh yeah, now I get it.
1,000 years ago, it might have been a meat eater, a bird that ate meat. But through hundreds of years, it might have changed into its beak.
My little friend over here who was talking about the process in a hummingbird that might have at one point been a meat eater, but then the seasons changed and that's why now, that's his knowledge. That is his. He owns that as seasons change and climates change, birds, animals change. That's his now. He created that. He figured it out. He will always remember that.
See, if you could use the scissors to break it and then you get up the littler pieces so it would be easier for the birds to eat them. You're right.
They will remember this. You know, the question, oh, how was school today? What did you learn? Well, if it was just book work, it's like, nothing. But if they were digging marshmallows off a stick with a tong, they're going to remember that. They've got something to talk about. And parents want to see that their children have been engaged. They've learned something, that they like school, that they, was like, this is the third favorite day of school. There was the tug of war. Hey, if a science lesson can rank there with a tug of war, we're doing all right.